This is your pilot speaking. We're just coming in to land at Rust Island Airport, where the ambient temperature is currently about 23 degrees centigrade with a light drizzle. Please remain in your seats and refrain from attempting to catch any Pokemon until the cabin staff give you the all clear. Thank you for flying with Rusty Jet, and we wish you a pleasant forward journey.
Hello there, friends and survivors, and welcome to episode 8 of
Concept Limbo.
the place where ideas go when they don't like you because you smell. So far in this series we've caught tantalising glimpses of what Rust could have been, and maybe still can be, with such dormant concepts as drones, cars, harpoon guns, killer chickens, and the legendary Nokia on a stick. But after carefully consulting my mood ring, I've decided that over the next 2 or 3 episodes we're going to discuss Rust's not so great outdoors. You know, that unpleasant place you have to visit every once in a while when you're either not hiding from the rest of humanity or just need to catch a Charmander. Although it's over 9,000 times sexier now than it was at the beginning of the reboot, we've seen many design ideas over the months and indeed years that simply never made the cut, and it's some of these that we're going to explore right now. Now, I didn't realise at first what a hefty subject this was, and with so many concepts to choose from, it wasn't easy to decide where to start, but I thought we could begin with a feature that, if Legend of Zelda has taught us anything, we should be sure to check behind at every opportunity, and that is waterfalls. Okay, so we do kind of have these on Happis Island, but compared to this art test from July 2014, they just look like wobbly sheets of plastic and nowhere near as frothy or splashy as you'd expect. Bill at Face Punch, who was looking into these at the time, also rigged up a way to test the physics. Not sure I'd want to wash my hair under this one, though. Another art test that I found from all the way back in May 2014 was this one for a sandstorm, which would be a reasonable hazard to expect in a desert biome and would not only significantly reduce visibility, but would also leave you picking sand out of every orifice for days. I think it would be good to see events such as these, or perhaps biome-specific storms like proper blizzards in the north, that could make it harder to see your enemies, friends, or indeed the name of the song you're listening to. From weather now to natural monuments, and imagine merrily trundling along the local beach only to stumble upon this monstrosity, which could also act as a kind of long-lasting resource node. This artwork by Howie at Face Punch suddenly appeared on the Rust Trello boards back on 2nd of February 2015, but was certainly not a one-off idea. The team obviously liked it, and the next month, in devblog number 53, a preliminary model appeared. As Tom, who is now working on it, said, "I guess you can imagine the amount of resources and the kinds that you could gather from it. Looking forward to seeing people fight over it. I need to expose a visual resource gathering point, so I'll have the stomach, innards, and ribcage exposed. Delicious! I can just imagine some naked slugging it out in the ribcage and slipping around on rotting whale intestines to decide who gets the lion's share of the blubber. Very civilised." 2 weeks later, Tom had opened her up, and things were looking very positive, with a promise that more detail was to follow. And that was the last we ever heard of it. I really don't know what happened. We were so close. Maybe Greenpeace got involved. Who knows? Talking of whales, though, Rust's underwater environment remains one of the least explored places on the planet, and will probably remain that way for as long as there isn't actually anything to look at down there. No, seriously, there's nothing. Nada. Not even tea and coffee making facilities. It is still a step up from Legacy's aquatic environment, though, which, if you so much as poked your toe in it, would kill you faster than you could say, "Don't shoot, I'm friendly." But that's not to say we haven't had some insights over the months as to whether things would be better down where it's wetter. For instance, here are a few ideas for underwater remnants that could potentially be laying just beneath the surf, and that were drawn up as long ago as October 2014, including bits of crashed plane and even an underwater swimming pool. Now that must be a nightmare to clean. Not much more was discussed about what lay beneath until in devblog 95 on 28th of January 2016, Howie showed us some art for a crashed submarine concept that he'd reportedly been working on for a long time. As he said, "Been thinking about this idea for a while and working on it off and on. Finally got it done. This would be another great place to spawn high quality loot, and reaching it would be especially hard because of the equipment required to get there." By equipment, I presume Howie must be referring to the time when we finally get our paws on that makeshift scuba gear. But that's another story for another episode. I think it'd be splendid to one day dive for sunken treasures in the rusty ocean depths, but what are your thoughts? Let me know. Coming back up to the surface for air now, let's have a gander at a couple of ideas for monuments that were suggested at the time when the team were looking for ways to help us find our way around our post-apocalyptic island home. One that particularly fascinated me was this massive collection of half-buried gears. I mean, what could be the story behind these? And what sort of machine could they be part of? A clock? An engine? or some sort of enormous lawnmower. Whatever the case, I'd wager that much like an iceberg lettuce, the majority of it would be hidden under the surface. Another rather more obvious monument that was drawn up was this huge crane. As you can see, maybe something that could be found out in the desert, and for some reason looks like it could be part hovercraft. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Whether it would be of any use or could be repaired is unknown, although what you'd actually use a crane for in Rust is debatable. This was thought of in the back end of 2014 at about the same time as the abandoned satellite dish which we now all know and love, as well as these concepts for an observation tower, and although we've never had it as a separate monument, I do wonder whether it was the inspiration behind the water tower / sniper's nest in some of the current dungeons. There are a lot more monument ideas which I'm going to continue looking at in the next episode, but something worth mentioning here is the way that they're linked together. You see, for a long time, roads have been procedurally laid out to connect monuments and help you find your way about, but if you were reading the Trello boards back in January 2015, you might have seen this concept for allowing human traffic to determine the shape, length, and quality of Rust's roads. The idea was for them to develop in the same way as in real life. Basically, the more that human feet pound along a track, the more it becomes established and eventually turns into a major road, complete with tarmac, truck stops, and fuel stations that sell horrifically overpriced snacks. Well, maybe not that far, but you get the idea. It would give a much more organic feel to the proceedings, and you could tell straight away whether you were travelling along a well-used route or forging new ground. Now, I'm not sure how many of you would have ever seen this last and, may I say, rather disturbing item of concept art. It was posted once again to the Rust Trello boards on October 2014 by the ever-prolific Megan Tupper. I wasn't sure whether to include this in a video about Rust's environment, but as it was labelled under monuments, I thought, why not? Introducing the execution chamber. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not strawberry jam in there. There were quite a number of different designs drawn up, but exactly what sinister part it would have to play in Rust's backstory, or indeed whether it would still be a functional machine, is unknown. I think this concept was a little bit edgy even for Rust, as I've never seen it discussed since. It's still there if you want to see it though, so who knows? Please leave me a comment and let me know what you thought of this and the other concepts we've looked at today. Subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode where I'll be continuing my strip search of Rust's environment, and please leave a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this one. Come and follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook and Steam, and I'll catch you all soon. In the meantime, stay rusty. Cheerio!